The woman never expected that the Death King, who was nothing but bones, after being kicked around by her, would unexpectedly turn into a cute and silly-looking girl. But at the same time, the girl lost her previous memories. She only remembered that her name was Walsha. When she first awoke from her slumber, Walsha was still confused and bewildered. She only knew that her mission was to unseal this land. So Walsha began to take action. She used her power to summon puppets, and commanded them to keep digging, until they unearthed a rock containing sealing power. This gave her a strange sense of accomplishment. Although the puppets were very efficient, unfortunately, they could not speak, which made Walsha feel a bit lonely. Soon after, she dug into a hollow full of remains. Walsha used her power to make them her subordinates, and commanded them to continue digging. During this time, she unexpectedly tamed a mole, which made the digging much more efficient. As time passed, Walsha had no idea how many years she had been digging, until she unearthed a second rock. This made Walsha feel very joyful. But just then, the cave suddenly shook. Then a white figure leapt up, and Walsha lost consciousness. When she opened her eyes again,
ここはどこ？私は誰？いろいろあった気がするけど。大丈夫ですか？何にも思い出せない。
Since Walsha had lost most of her memories, Jack decided to keep her in the village for care. Looking at Walsha before him, Shia felt that her name sounded familiar. Even Walsha's hair color was strikingly similar to that of the legendary hero queen. Seeing Walsha covered in dirt, Jack asked the demon maid to take her for a bath. But when she saw Hak Lien, Walsha inexplicably felt dislike. Later, while enjoying the hot spring, Grover recounted the events of the previous night to Jack. Although the Death King had vanished, the mole was unlikely to appear again. But for the safety of the giants, Jack decided to personally investigate. When he arrived at the site, he found strange black mist spreading around. Strangely, except for him, everyone else could not see the black mist, until Jack took out the universal farming tool, and gently scraped the mist. The ominous aura finally subsided. Besides that, this rock was also extremely hard, as if even dragons could not break it. Jack thought for a moment, decided to use the universal farming tool to carve it into a statue of a god. The next second, the once eerie rock shone with holy light.
これでどうでしょう。きっと良かったんだろう。
Thinking it was unsafe to leave it underground, Grover immediately cast magic, creating many exorcism statues nearby. Once an emergency occurs, they will automatically awaken and sound the alarm. But things did not end there. Grover suspected there was a passage deeper in the cave. If similar rocks were found, he hoped Jack would continue carving statues. He then took Lulusi back to gather people, to prepare for further investigation of the cave. As Jack was about to call Lottie's and the others back, he felt the atmosphere was somewhat off. Hak Lien remained silent, then transformed into a dragon and flew away. After Lottie's explained, Jack realized their guilt. They believed the cave collapse was their mistake, but in the end, it forced Jack to apologize to the giants. Although Jack felt it was his duty as the village chief, Lottie's believed that the strong should not apologize lightly. After some comforting, Lottie's smiled again, and Hak Lien shared Lottie's view that good deeds should be praised, and mistakes should be criticized.
そうか。じゃあ、よくやった、白蓮。
じゃあ、褒めて。
お疲れ様。
Meanwhile, on the other side, Grover led a group back to the cave, since there was no path ahead, and the underground structure was extremely unstable. Everyone could only dig little by little with magic. Although they eventually unearthed 2 black rocks, they were all too exhausted to move. Based on the current location, Jack speculated that there might still be 4 rocks underground, so he suggested digging straight down from the surface. Everyone collapsed at the thought. After all, the workload was greater than building a house. The underground environment was not only harsh, but also plagued by disgusting monsters. Everyone kept digging from day to night. For dinner, the maid specially prepared a stew to restore magic, but its appearance was really hard to stomach. Maria saw the 2 looking pain. Instinctively, she wanted to ask if they needed help. The next second, Maria was stunned. The 2 were eager for someone to share the food. To ease the burden, Jack decided to let the 2 dragon girls help as well. Unexpectedly, one stomp caused a collapse, and all the previous digging was wasted. Just as everyone was reaching their limit, light finally illuminated the last rock. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and soaked in the hot spring to recover. Next, it was Jack's turn to act, for Grover did not want only the statue of the creator god. He also wished to see the figures of other deities.
どの神様がいいかな。悩んじゃうな。こっち？いやこっち。でもやっぱり。
もしかして、これが岩を見つける本当の目的だったのでは？